कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
So good evening, everyone. It is our privilege to invite and welcome all of you to our iconic brand series. And today we are presenting our iconic brand for all of you. Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids is a business opportunity for all the investors, those who have joined us today. The chain with 1200 plus preschools and 42 K-12 schools. And today we have invited the team from the brand to talk about the business opportunity they are offering in market. We invite and welcome Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. Gaurav sir, Chairman Franchise India, and Sonia ma'am, she's our MD, to talk about this great opportunity for all of you. So may I request Gaurav sir to start with the formal introduction about our panel member.
So thank you, Archana, and thank you for hosting this webinar, and welcome friends. This is a very special webinar Franchise India is hosting, and we are extremely proud of this association which we have and we are bringing in today. Why it is so special? Because it's a company which Franchise India has an opportunity to work for last almost about 2 decades. We have seen the commitment of the organization to build a full category. The whole early learning space in India was built by this company. And they have not been the leaders, but they have actually created a very big impact, especially when it comes to early learning and also women entrepreneurship. Why I say these two things? Because early learning, they created a full category of preschool, and then now they run a full stack learning organization under Lighthouse Learning. Lighthouse Learning has 2 strong brands. One is Eurokids and second is Kangaroo Kids. And we'll hear them out and we'll understand the opportunity. The second thing which I'm actually very interested in, and that's where really the big difference was created on, was women entrepreneurship. You know, this was an opportunity which was designed for women, and they loved because they were passionate about kids. They understood this was an interesting opportunity, and this whole opportunity was created. And what better timing would be than what we are talking today, when we are coming back to normal situation. We know a lot of women are looking for a new career to get started. So this is a perfect timing for this opportunity to do that. I will also like to set some important aspects. We see that the next year, it is not only going to be bounce back for this industry because kids would start going back to school, but it is a great opportunity for scaling. Why? Because a lot of marginal players have gone out of the business. So it has opened up a huge opportunity for us. So today we're very proud that we have Mr. Sai, who's the CEO for the business, and he's going to talk about the entire business of preschool and both the brands and how the brands evolved, and we will talk about the business model. We also have the national head Sudeep, who also joins in, and also their other team members who are joining for headquarters. So thank you, Mr. Sai, to joining us with us. So we really appreciate you taking time out and bringing yourself on the panel and talking about the opportunity. But before we do that, I will also tell Sonia to really maybe put her comments, and then we pass it on to you for your presentation. The flow of the webinar would be that we'll start with your presentation. We'll talk about that for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then we'll do a detailed Q&A. Because a lot of questions people would like to understand, especially when they are looking at the opportunity 2022, how the market looks like and so on and so forth. So over to you, Sonia, for your comments, and then we pass it on to Mr.
Thank you, Gaurav, and I welcome the entire team of Eurokids, and especially Mr. Sai, who's the CEO leading the entire project. Sudeep ji is there. I see Methili ji also on the screen. So welcome, friends. All of you have joined the webinar, and as I speak, I also see a lot of you still joining in. And just to add on to what Gaurav also said, we are really proud to bring you the very first time an opportunity with the leading education house. And this is a combination of two companies, which is Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, and they are the front runners in the preschool education. And also a lot of credit goes to the pioneering effort, which was made by the founder, Mr. Rajan, and in the early childhood education in the country, and commendable, I would say. And not only that, it also created for the very first time a robust ecosystem for entrepreneurs in the education sector. So if you've all seen, friends, the last 2 years, the entire education sector has undergone a complete transformation, and it had to innovate ways to educate students and ensuring the continuation of their learning and growth. And this is what we're trying to bring in through the model which Eurokids would present to all of you. And my request, friends, will also be, we have a Q&A box that you can see down on the screen. Any questions that you have during the webinar, you can put these questions in the Q&A box, and we'll take these questions at the end of the webinar, and we'll try and answer as many as possible as we take you through the presentation. So over to you, Mr. Sai, for taking it ahead.
Thank you very much, Sonia, and thank you very much, Gaurav, for creating this platform where we can interact with many investors. Extremely happy to be here to talk about what we believe is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to enter into the whole preschooling space, given what has happened in the market in the last 2 years. So what I thought I would do is to quickly run through a presentation, and then probably after the presentation, we can switch to a Q&A. I hope my screen is visible.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So while we are today here to talk about the brands Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, I'd also like to take a minute to just talk about the larger corporate entity or the company under which these brands exist. Earlier, it used to be called the Eurokids Group. It's now called Lighthouse Learning Private Limited. And we are India's leading early childhood and K-12 education company. Yeah. And these are our brands. Like Sonia mentioned, we have Eurokids, Kangaroo Kids. We also have Euroschool, Billabong High International School, and we recently partnered with Centerpoint School and Mother's Pet Kindergarten in Nagpur. So really, in that sense, it's like Gaurav said, it's a full stack offering. So Eurokids and Euroschool coexist with each other in markets like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Bombay, Pune. So we have a large cluster of Eurokids preschools standalone, and they become feeders to the Euroschools which are run by us. Similarly, for Kangaroo Kids, we offer for parents who put their children into Kangaroo Kids a clear path into the Billabong High International Schools. And we've been now with Kangaroo Kids is now in its 28th year of existence, and Eurokids in 21st year of existence. So more than 20 plus years of expertise with both these brands. A lot of pioneering work done in terms of building the franchise ecosystem, a lot of pioneering work done in terms of early childhood education, and we really see ourselves as the early childhood experts. We are now present in 3 countries, 360 plus cities across India, more than 1200 plus preschools, and we have 42 K-12 schools. So one of the big benefits that we see of parents coming into either a Eurokids or a Kangaroo Kids is that they can automatically graduate to our chain of K-12 schools. And we've also predominantly in our both our brands with Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, predominantly working with women entrepreneurs. Yeah, there is a beautiful synergy in terms of women entrepreneurs coming and working with us, working with children in the 0 to 6 age group, and creating a very financially rewarding opportunity for themselves through the preschooling. We've touched the lives of more than 150,000 plus children every day, and through all the franchise networks and our own schools, we are currently creating employment opportunities for more than 10,000 plus people. One of the questions that we are constantly asked, and I wanted to spend some time to try and delve into this a little bit, is why early childhood education, right? Is it important? Why should we consider early childhood education as compared to any other opportunity, right? Now, at Lighthouse Learning with Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, we've always believed that early childhood education is the most important learning phase for children. Yeah, and we believed it since many years. The government has now finally taken cognizance of the importance of early childhood education. So if any of you have read the New Education Policy 2020, this is a quote from the New Education Policy, which the government has come out with. They say 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. Given that, it is extremely important that the child undergoes a scientific and structured preschool education between the ages of 0 to 6, because these are foundational years. And if you provide the right kind of education in these foundational years, then the child ends up with lifelong benefits. The government has recognized it. And again, a statement from the NEP 2020, which says that the government has now made universal provisioning of quality early childhood development, care, and education a national imperative. So you might have seen in news articles, every state government talking about launching its own version of NEP. And they're all talking about, making sure that every child in every state has access to quality early childhood education. And they've in fact mentioned in the NEP also that private preschools will play a very, very strong role in ensuring that all children get an opportunity for undergoing a high quality preschool program. So the government itself is creating a big, big push around preschooling. We, having been in this industry, in this sector for so many years, we have access to many scientific articles, many research studies, and it has been scientifically proven that children who go through a structured and scientific early childhood education derive immense benefits, not just for those 6 years, not just for getting ready for grade 1, but they have benefits which last them for the rest of their life. They have better social skills, they get better marks, they get better jobs, higher paying jobs, they have better life success, right? So the government is giving a strong push. Science has proven that early childhood education gives children humongous amounts of benefits. Parents across the country increasingly see early childhood education as a very, very important first step in their child's learning journey. All of these factors put together have created a significant demand for preschooling in India. And hence, this demand is at an all-time high. Yeah, and for sure, during the pandemic, the demand for preschooling took a little bit of a hit because preschools were all shut. But now, except for 2 or 3 states, most of the other states have opened up preschools, and we are seeing demand coming back in a big way. Because for children of that age, physical preschooling is the best. It's a combination of online and offline is the interim phase, but eventually it's the physical preschooling which gives the best benefits to children of 0 to 6 age. What are the other reasons one should consider the whole preschool sector? India has 16.5 crore children in the 0 to 6 years age group. And if you put together all the preschools in India, we are just touching a very, very small portion of that 16.5 crore children. So there is tremendous headroom for growth. There are still many, many parents who are not yet sending their children to preschools. And as they realize the importance of early childhood education, they will start sending their children to preschools, and you will see the demand increasing. Every year, as urbanization increases, as more and more jobs get created in the big cities, 2 crore individuals shift to urban pockets. We are also seeing that the participation of women in the workforce is increasing by leaps and bounds year after year. And as more and more women participate in the workforce, the demand for preschools is increasing, because with both mom and dad working, they need a preschool where they, a high quality preschool, a safe and hygienic preschool where they can leave their child while they are going off to work, right? India is a very, very young population. Yeah, so this market will keep growing for the foreseeable future. And consumption for education, Indians take education very, very seriously, right? And a point that I'd like to make here is that after food, the highest per capita spend in India is on education, right? And also, if you look at it, if you compare India with developed countries like USA, UK, even China, the market penetration of preschools in India is still very, very low. So there is tremendous opportunity for growth, both from a consumer perspective as well as from a market perspective. But then the question that we again get asked is, should we start our preschool now or should we wait? What's happening with the pandemic, Omicron, there is a lot of uncertainty in the environment right now. But I do believe that now is the best time to consider an investment in starting your own preschool. And why is that? Like I said, except maybe for Maharashtra and Gujarat and a couple of other states, most states have given permission for preschools to open. We know that even Maharashtra and Gujarat, it's only a matter of time, maybe within the next couple of weeks, we expect these states also to allow preschools to resume. Yeah. I think Sonia spoke about the fact that, or Gaurav spoke about the fact that, some of the preschools, the marginal preschools have shut down during the pandemic. I'll just share with you statistics. I was in Mysore a couple of weeks back, and there I was told that a lot of the local preschools, because they don't have the technology, because they don't have the capability, have not been able to survive during the pandemic. So the number of preschools in Mysore has come down from 170 to about 80. So significant reduction in the number. And now because preschools are allowed to open in Mysore, our Eurokids preschool and Kangaroo Kids preschools have opened up. Parents are coming back and they are finding lesser choices in the marketplace. So every preschool which is open in Mysore is suddenly seeing a huge influx of inquiries and admissions coming in. So the demand will come back to normal, but the supply is almost half of what it was before the pandemic, right? So that's why we think it's a great opportunity. It's a great time to go out and make an investment, because when parents come back, when parents start going back to work, they will look for a preschool. And at that time, if your preschool is up and running, you will see a significant boom in admissions. Yeah. The other thing is that parents will now, given the fact that we are slowly getting out of the pandemic, will seek a preschool which gives them an assurance of quality, safety, and hygiene, right? And which is why parents will increasingly prefer a branded preschool over a local preschool. Because with a branded preschool, they will get an assurance of quality, safety, and hygiene, which they may not get with a local preschool. And we are seeing that across the country with many brands, that people are shifting from unbranded to branded, and we expect that to happen in a significant manner in a preschool because parents want their children to be safe. We're also seeing an increasing trend of parents going back to work from office. Predominantly in the last 18 months, we were work from home, but that trend is changing, and we will see more and more people coming back to work. 2-3 trends we are seeing nowadays is that the demand for flats in metros has suddenly shot up because companies like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, etc., have told their employees very clearly, we're going to start soon, come back to your home base or come back to the city in which you were given the job. So people who had shifted back to their hometown, had gone to their village probably, are now all coming back, re-renting their flats, and they will then start looking for a preschool. The other reason to consider demand for preschooling right now is that Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids have adapted significantly in the last 18 months, and we now have built the capability to do online delivery of preschooling, offline delivery of preschooling, and hybrid. So even if there are, for short periods of time, local lockdowns, some, resurgence, some small waves happening, some city gets locked down, some locality gets locked down, we now have the capability to do both online and offline, right? So the preschools are open, children come, we have the best of curriculums to conduct a very, very high quality, safe, hygienic preschool program. Suppose that locality gets locked down, parents say, I'm not going to send my child to the preschool. We immediately shift to online because we have the full online stack built out and we can provide a very high quality online program. So we have the ability to toggle between online and offline, depending on what the environmental conditions are. And so in that sense, you're protected from any external problem being created for you. And you don't have to worry to say, oh, what if there is a minor wave? Do I have to shut down? Yes, you can shut down, but you can continue online. And we give you that capability. We give you the tech platform as part of the entire partnership package. I'll quickly talk about the two brands, our two brands, Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids. I'll talk about Eurokids first. We have 4 age-specific programs, which is Playgroup, Nursery, Euro Junior, and Euro Senior. It's been developed by child psychologists. We have more than 20 plus years of experience at Eurokids. We won more than 40 plus awards. 3 lakh plus students' lives have been touched by Eurokids over the last so many years. Eurokids is 1,100 preschools across the country, and more than 20,000 hours of curriculum research has gone in to create the foundation for the Eurokids learning system. So, and Eurokids is powered by the innovative curriculum for mindful learning called UNOYA, and it covers the mind, body, and the soul. And as recent as 2020, we were awarded the Best Early Education Innovative Curriculum at the Indian Education Awards. And from a curriculum perspective, at Eurokids, we focus on holistic development. So Euphonics, MATLAB, Scientific Spark covers the mind. Eurofit and Yoga Kids covers the body. And Euromusic and Mindful Plus covers the soul. So it's a holistic program, covers all aspects of the child's development and very scientifically developed. I talked about the fact that we now have the capability to do both online and offline. So in the last 18 months, and I'm counting as we speak, we have more than 50,000 children currently doing online preschooling with us through the Home Buddy platform, which is our proprietary preschool learning platform, which has a plethora of features for children as well as parents. So we have weekly learning plans. If a child misses a class, they can attend a recorded lesson. There are interactive games, stories, parent corners. There is immense amount of content available to make sure that the child's learning continues uninterrupted along with live sessions. And this allows you to continue your preschooling program irrespective of the environmental conditions. We are one of India's most awarded preschool brand also. And of course, from the offline perspective, there is the full support that we provide across all parameters. infrastructure, equipment, curriculum, teacher training, marketing, lead management, rewards and recognition. So this entire full stack of support is what we provide in Eurokids. From what is needed for an investment perspective, in Eurokids, we require a minimum of 1,500 square feet area on the ground floor with some outdoor area for children to play. We will guide you on the ambience that needs to be created inside the property as per the manual. And from a financial readiness perspective, our franchise fees, depending on the city and the model, varies between 2 lakhs to 3.5 lakh rupees. And you have to buy the teaching aids and some proprietary equipment from us to get your preschool up and running. And the setup cost for that, including the interiors, will vary from between 8 lakhs to 12 lakh rupees. And you will have an OPEX of between 0.75 lakhs to 1.5 lakhs. Details we can get into when we, if you're interested and you reach out to us, then we can have a detailed conversation to show you how the whole financial model of Eurokids works. Moving on to Kangaroo Kids. Kangaroo Kids is our premium preschooling brand, while Eurokids is positioned at the mid-market level. Kangaroo Kids is positioned at the premium level from a fee and a positioning perspective. Kangaroo Kids is, one of the first brands to go into the formal preschooling sector way back in 1993. And, it's created a very happy, engaging learning process for children, which is absolutely unique. And the whole Kangaroo Kids proposition is built around the ICANN learning system, which covers future skills and habits of the mind. We'll get into details if you're interested from having a deeper conversation perspective. But this is absolutely a cutting-edge curriculum and will really be targeted at parents who are seeking a global education and may eventually want to start putting their children into IGCSE schools or IB schools. That's the kind of parent who would be interested in putting their child into the Kangaroo Kids. So we have a very strong neuroscience-based curriculum. It's a very differentiated infrastructure, and it's a premium fees. So just to give you an example, the difference in fees between a Eurokids and a Kangaroo Kids will be in the region of around 30 to 35%. And we provide very, very detailed lesson plans. So we take the pain out of managing and running a preschool on a day-to-day basis completely out of your hands, because you get such detailed and comprehensive instructions that you can easily run a preschool with those instructions that we give you. And what is needed for Kangaroo Kids? The infrastructure requirements are slightly larger because it's a premium brand. So we say minimum between 2,500 to 3,500 square feet as compared to Eurokids 1,500 square feet. Ground floor with outdoor area. And again, we will give you what we call a blue book here to execute the ambience. The franchise fees for Kangaroo Kids is 6.5 lakhs, but the term of the agreement is for 5 years, whereas for Eurokids, it is for a 3-year term. Here, the setup cost is higher because we have a more elaborate center kit, more elaborate equipment, and also the interiors have elements which are of a higher order, more elaborate to make the experience for the child more better. And the monthly OPEX is between 1.5 to 2 lakhs. So very quickly, that's about our two preschool brands. And what we provide in Lighthouse Learning Private Limited, the preschool division is 120 people strong. And we have teams which will handhold you at every step of the way and make sure that your business is launched successfully. So it starts from center launch and operations. So we'll help you with location. We'll help you with the ROI plan, projections. We'll help you with setting up your preschool, getting the interiors done, creating a launch plan for the preschool, making sure that the launch plan goes well and that you get a lot of initial admissions. From a curriculum perspective, for both brands, we have very, very strong and detailed curriculums. We'll give you learning kits. We'll give you plans around summer club programs, each and every element, how to do a PTN, how to do a parent induction program, how to carry out wellness programs, what are the teaching aids that you require. Each and every element of the offer will be handheld by our teams at head office, and we'll walk with you every step of the way. We'll conduct detailed training programs. We will audit your centers. Our academic team members will come and work with your teachers. We will do classroom observations and give critical feedback on what your teachers need to do to make sure that academic execution is of the highest orders. We will do safety audits. We will conduct tests for your teachers. So again, that whole piece is extremely comprehensive. And from a marketing perspective, in April, May, June, July this year, we carried out a very large digital marketing campaign for all our partners. We generated close to 150,000 leads across the entire country through our digital marketing campaign. And it led to a huge influx of admissions at our franchise partners, in spite of the fact that this was the period when we were at the peak of the second wave and not one of our franchise partners had their preschools open. So the leads were generated digitally. The interaction, the counseling, the admissions, everything happened digitally, right? And we were able to support our partners, invest in digital marketing, and give them a very, very high level of support. Preschools open up and they're opening up. We will provide you with a lot of physical marketing support, creative support, and we have many tie-ups that we have worked out which give you lots of benefits from a national marketing perspective as well as from a local marketing perspective. So the overall point is that there is a lot of comprehensive support that a partner gets either for Eurokids or Kangaroo Kids, and that will help you make your business a success. This is not a model in which we just take the franchise fees and expect you to do everything. We will be there with you every step of the way. Even from a teacher training perspective, we do various levels of teacher training, counselor training. Your admission counselor gets a special training from us. We do center head training. We will train you on how to conduct parent orientation and webinar. We will help you hire teachers, and we will also do the complete partner induction. And last but not the least, we are India's first safe school network. During the pandemic, we have done 3 key tie-ups with BVQI for making sure that our safety and resumption protocols are of the highest order. We've tied up with Diversity, and they're guiding us along with High Care on hygiene and disinfection. So they've given us the protocols, they've given us what chemicals to use, and all of these has been put together into a package which comes to you when you tie up with either one of our brands. And of course, I spoke earlier about what we did during this admission season, but going forward, all of these are the kind of creatives that you will get from us. We will adapt it for you and we will send it to you as per your requirements. So we've got both Kangaroo Kids and Eurokids creatives over here, be it a print ad, be it digital, be it outdoors, any kind, leaflets, no parking signboards, standees, mailers, brochures, everything is available with us. More parent manuals, tent cards, admission checklists, all of these. And of course, PR coverage. So, we are constantly working on a PR program to keep our brands visible throughout the year so that whenever parents think of taking admissions, Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids should be the first 2 brands that come to their minds. That's all from me. And I hope I've been able to give a broad coverage of the Lighthouse Learning organization, as well as our 2 preschool brands, Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids.
Thank you, Sai. I think very impressive presentation, very specific and very, in terms of enlightening on the overall opportunity. So we'll get on started with a lot of questions which are already started coming in, and I want to really take maximum of your time to address this question. The first question which you have addressed, but I want to really take this a little more in detail, is that everybody thinks that what is going to happen if the pandemic continues or something like that, while it is not happening, because if you see all the data which is coming in, it shows that We are on the last tail of the pandemic, and from things would start looking good from here. And almost every report has come out in the same perspective, and world is opening up in that sense. But if you still had the year one, which means that if we even count 2022 as not the full capacity year, and we had a discussion, remember in your office, we calculated it is still in great advantage for somebody to start this year, just by the fact that a lot of these marginal players have gone out, and you can probably show the journey of how the market has changed and how it is advantage Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids today to go and take that strong leadership and bring large volume locations for that. So, but I would like you to give a little larger perspective, because you're seeing the real time what is happening. And we also discussed about the number of inquiries on franchise, which has exploded in last 2 months.
Yes.
Because a lot of people want to really get that started, and intelligent people understand when the opportunity gaps creates, then how is interesting becomes. Like, for example, I was giving somebody example, there were 400 schools in Tri-City, which are different size, different structures. 70% of them gone. So if averagely each school was having 50 kids, there was a demand which was already been done for a 20,000 kids, which means that currently the serviceability of that market is less than 30%. And that also you're not sure when it happens. So which means then how quickly you need to ramp up capabilities to get another 10,000 kids needs to be absorbed. So it's a humongous opportunity which is ready to do that. That's one. And second, also the infra which is available. So over to you. I would like a little bit more in detail. And friends, you can all ask as many questions. We are taking up all your questions one by one.
Okay. So, Gaurav, very, very valid points. First, let me talk about uncertainty. Yeah. So I think till Omicron popped up, we were all very clear that things are absolutely headed in the right direction, and next year should be a full resumption. So I think with Omicron coming in, a little bit of doubt has crept back into everyone's mind. So one of the things that we have done is that we have created an advisory panel at Lighthouse Learning. And we have Dr. Chandrakant Laharia, who is a public health expert and has recently co-authored some news articles along with Dr. Kudzi from South Africa, the lady who was the first to notice the Omicron variant. And we've been talking to him pretty much on a weekly basis. And he is of the view that ever since the Omicron variant has come up, we've not seen any increase in the amount of bad news coming out. So if at all, on a daily basis, the news only seems to be getting better and better. So his advice is that there is no need to panic. As long as we follow COVID appropriate behavior and we continue to focus on getting ourselves vaccinated, he does not see any risk to schools and preschools again getting shut down in the future, right? So that's his advice. And that is the advice we are following when we are talking to our partners when it comes to operationalizing or resuming physical preschooling. So we don't, though of course he has told us, wait till the 15th of December, because by 15th of December, we will have hard data and we'll be able to take a much better call on how Omicron is going to pan out. So we were worried about Omicron at some point in time. We are not so worried about Omicron right now. We continue to work very, very strongly towards physical resumption of all our preschools. I'd like to share at this point in time a data point that in the states where we have opened up our physical preschools, when we compare admissions from 1920, which is pre-COVID, to the admissions that we have done in the same period post reopening of our preschools, we've seen a 3x jump in admissions. And that goes back to the point that Gaurav just made, that 70% of the preschools in some areas have shut down because they were marginal and they could not cope with the pandemic. But brands like Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids have not only retained their network, but we've actually grown our franchise numbers quite significantly in the last 2 years. Yeah. And this year, we are seeing growths of close to 60 to 70% in new partners getting added as compared to last year. Yeah. And we're almost beginning to see our numbers come back to pre-pandemic levels. Yeah. So there are people who are seeing the opportunity in the market space. People who are even the slightest level of knowledge of the preschool market realize that demand is coming back, supply has reduced drastically. So parents actually don't have much choices. So if you have a high quality branded preschool available in the local market, all these guys are seeing a significant jump in their enrollments. And that, in my mind, is the one biggest reason that one should consider investment in Eurokids or a Kangaroo Kids right now. Even in states like Maharashtra, we expect that, for sure, by April next year, we will expect preschooling to open up. And in Maharashtra, I know for sure that a lot of existing players, even without official permission, are operating as an activity center or a daycare. And they have many children coming to their schools on a daily basis. So it's only a matter of time. Yeah. And across most of the country, we expect preschooling to resume physically and demand to come back significantly.
Absolutely. And I call it about three big factors which are very interesting at this moment. One is the shift of the mindset. With this pandemic, one thing is very certain, that you don't want to trust something which is fragmented, local player. So anything which you consume, you look at salons, look at restaurants, look at hotels, people are not going to something they cannot trust. Hygiene has become a very important point. And that's one of the reasons there would be a big shift market, which would happen from an unorganized, fragmented preschool. And that's very large size to a branded preschool. And if you are a market leader like Eurokid and Kangaroo Kid, you will take the maximum share of that. That's one great point which I see. The second point I see is the lower entry point today, because there are a lot of infra available, and Franchise India has worked extensively to find existing locations also available, which you can do that. And that arbitrage itself is good to take care of your first year. Even if you hit the first 100% or occupancy level of your preschool in the 2023, 2022 will be taken care just because you have a lower entry point. There are a lot of goods infrastructure which is available, which can be taken on. The locations which were not available earlier, the sites which were not available earlier, because preschool needs a good infrastructure, especially residential bungalow or something like that, which sometimes are not available. Now it has been available because some other local player has not gone out of the entire thing. That infrastructure we can acquire at a good entry point. So that's another very important aspect. And third aspect really comes from, I feel that the operators, the franchisees themselves, because what has happened is this opportunity is very suited to women entrepreneurs. And they don't want to go back. A lot of them don't want to go back to corporate life. They want to really start something which is flexible, close to their home. They can run and operate easily. And if they have children, like somebody wrote that her daughter is actually going to a Eurokid already. For her to get onto this business where she can actually look after their young child also, and also build a business and a career out of it, it is a great opportunity. So friends, we are seeing a lot of questions. So I want to really maximize that time. Sonia, you can also keep picking up questions as we go along. One of the areas which is now going into deeper, because you have run this business for a very long period, and you know that the business has now become quite integrated, and from just a physical school to online capabilities and a lot of these value-added programs which are coming in. And so the first question comes in is on the talent side. How's the talent, and how you are different in terms of one, getting the right talent, which is the teachers, and also the training of them, and what kind of other support goes in from a talent and delivery. So a lot of people asked on the question, so I want to really take it up. And so this is the first question, and then we get into a little more operational part to it.
Sure. So on the teacher side, happy to answer this question, because we do provide an immense amount of support on the teacher training side, both in Eurokids as well as in Kangaroo Kids. We will help you hire the teachers. If you're struggling to hire teachers, we have tie-ups where we can source teachers for you and connect them with you so that you can actually hire those teachers along with us. We provide detailed virtual training everyone's got used to Zoom nowadays. So through Zoom, and if required physically also, we have a team of approximately 20 academic managers spread out across the country. Yeah. And these are all very highly trained preschool academic resources who spent multiple years with us. And they know each and every element of the curriculum and each and every element of the parent engagement very, very intimately. So they will help you hire the teacher. They will help you train your counselors. They will help you train your center heads. They will help train the franchise partner also on every aspect of the curriculum, so that the franchise partner is aware of what needs to be monitored and what needs to be done on a daily basis. Post this, our academic team will come in and sit in the classroom while your teachers are delivering the class, do classroom observations, share feedback with both the teacher as well as with the franchise partner, identify areas of improvement, and work very constructively with the school to make sure that academic standards are at the highest level possible. Yeah? If you want our academic managers to come in and conduct a parent induction program, a parent orientation program, any program you want to help in terms of conducting a parent-teacher meeting for the first few months, we can come and do that for you. So the academic handholding is of a very, very high order. And I don't think you need to worry at all about saying, I don't know academics, I don't know curriculum, how am I going to manage this? So we have a 20-member academic team, we have a 10-member curriculum team at the head office, and of course, we have a 20-member business team, which will support you on every aspect of the business that you need to manage on a day-to-day basis.
Very helpful. I'll take one more question on the operation side, which is the getting your first batch right. Because a lot of people, when they start, they have anxiety. Who does the marketing? What kind of marketing we use? Do digital, or we do some kind of BTL activity? How Eurokids sports from headquarters sports from there? What is their contribution? And I know it's a first stage, and you have mastered that because I remember a long time back. This is 15 years back. We did a program with Eurokids because they used to have a lot of women entrepreneurs, and most of these women were doing business first time. So they were even more having more anxiety. So I remember at that time, the team at leadership team at Eurokids used to actually not only train them on how to run a preschool, but also other principles of business ownership to help them to really set their startup, which needs to be done. So, and we had discussion there that how important is for you for the first 4, 5, 6 months of hand-holding and getting them the first cycle of running that, and then taking them to different stages of their growth path. So anything you want to share about that?
Yeah. So Sudeep, who's on this call, is our pre-sales head. So he has a team of sales managers who will interact with investors interested in becoming either a Eurokids or a Kangaroo Kids partner. So the initial handholding is done by Sudeep and his team. Yeah. So we will handhold the partner right through to the time that they're ready to physically launch their preschool. At that time, Sudeep's team will work with our business team. So there is another team of people called business managers. So the sales manager and the business manager will jointly handhold the partner and make sure that the school gets absolutely a flying start. That's the first objective that we want to meet with the partner. So we have, depending on the market, location, geography, we will have a lot of marketing packages which we recommend to the partner. Some of it is central marketing and some of it is local marketing, which we will guide the partner on how they can invest in some low cost local marketing to drive inquiries and admissions to their preschool. So that could be in the form of flyers, it could be in the form of poll kiosks, it could be in the form of no parking signboards. So we have a full local marketing strategy which we share with our partners just prior to the launch. And we also will guide the partner on how to do a launch event, how to do a launch event which will make sure that everyone in the vicinity of the preschool is aware that there's a Eurokids opening up or a Kangaroo Kids opening up. And the support starts from there, and you will have a dedicated business manager who will handle the relationship with you and handhold you through the period that you have the relationship with either of these two brands.
Just to add to what Sai said, so our pre-sales or business development team starts with the basics like catchment analysis. So that we have a team who will be surveying the locality. They will review the business potential of that catchment. They even go to the deep details, the occupancy level of various projects which are coming up in that area, what is the purchasing power, how much fees they can pay. So the pre-sales team helps to develop a robust business model. And then pre-sales team and business team, they work in tandem. And after the school is launched, in fact, before the center is launched, the team is well trained with joint efforts from pre-sales team, business team, and also the academics team members. And we ensure that on resumption or on launch of the school, all team members in the center is capable of handling the parents' inquiry to ensure a delightful experience for the parents. And the business team and academics team even help the partners by attending the parents' inquiries themselves. And initial 5-6 months, the team actually attends the parents' inquiries and also help them for conversion. So this is a kind of high touch relationship what every team members of different departments get into for the successful launch and the operations of the center. So it's pretty end-to-end support what these three teams together ensure for the new partner.
Very helpful. Very helpful. And I'll take one more question and then pass it on to Sonia. This is the kind of infrastructure, what kind of infrastructure you would recommend, and especially when it comes to tier 2, tier 3, and how far you feel that you would be able to take that, because somebody's asking in Andhra, they want to take it to a zonal level or even lower than that. So if you can give us some spectrum in terms of the markets you already operate in and what kind of infrastructure works best. And maybe you can go into even deeper that what kind of occupancy cost, which you normally would see in a tier 1, which is the Delhi, Bombay and Bangalore kind of location, and what kind of occupancy cost you would have in a smaller city like a Jhansi or a player like that. So anything which you want to talk about the infrastructure, because a lot of people are writing, they have ready infrastructure available for the schools. So they need to validate that, is it fine or is there a right capacity and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, so the minimum area what we require starts from 1500 square feet. So depending on the location, depending on the tier city where it is located, it goes up to 2500 square feet area. Now, the infrastructure typically should be in a residential area, because the parents always, let's say for the first time, the parents are letting their kids to move out of their house, and it's a small kid, 2.5 years old. So parents will always try to limit the travel within 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers. So it is always better to find out a property which is in the residential area. And in order to ensure the safety of the kids, we prefer to have a ground floor property. And there are certain other requirements, like the front road has to have a width minimum 20 feet for the safety reasons. There should not be any unsafe hazardous activity or factory or petrol pump in both the sides up to say 500 meters. So there are certain safety norms, but typically it's 1500 to 2500 square feet area. Preferably it should be in ground floor residential area. And so far as the cost of ownership is concerned, in metro cities like Bombay, typically it ranges from 1 lakh to 1.75 lakhs rent per month. In places like Bhopal, Indore, it is to the tune of, it varies depending on the location, around 50 to 75,000 rupees per month. And like places like Jhansi, maybe Gwalior, it should be a little lower. It should be around 30 to 50,000 rupees per month.
Yeah,
So
it can be even lower than that because
it can be even lower. It can
so
be
if
even
you,
lower.
you know, if you want to take a small bungalow in a tier 2 or tier 3, you can rent out.
It comes at around, say, Gaurav, 20 to 30,000 rupees rent also.
Correct. And this is actually true for even in a bigger cities, because bigger cities also have neighborhoods which can
Yeah.
have a lesser rental markets, and also
If we talk about, Gaurav, Mumbai, the suburbs will have a lower rent. Like if you talk about, say, beyond Borivali, like Dahisar, Bhayandar, so upcoming areas where maybe the people are migrating, and where a lot of new projects are coming up, new residential areas, the new infra developers are going and acquiring plots and building apartments. There the range is around it is within, say, 1 lakh 1.10, something like that, or around 1600 square feet area.
absolutely. And also Franchise India has a full team which is working on finding out locations, especially large gated communities. Large gated communities, like we're doing a community in Pune where 3,000 apartments, all young people are going to come, and a lot of demand would come in that. So these are locations which are also being coming very interesting locations where you can have a very captive, large audience available, and you can also get students from kids coming from the nearby, like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, even in Calcutta now, big, large gated communities with 3,000, 4,000 apartments are coming in. Great opportunity to participate there. And if you live in the same vicinity, it is also easy to manage. So Sone, over to you for your set of questions. And one particular area which I would like somebody asked, that why you have always attracted more women entrepreneurs than men entrepreneurs coming in.
Okay, so maybe I'll take a quick stab at that. So one is that, you know, we've seen in the last 2 years or more, there is a large proportion of teachers who are coming and becoming our franchise partners, because they've always loved teaching children. They've always loved interacting with children and, you know, being able to provide a great learning experience to children. Finally, they want to take all that experience and convert it into a financial opportunity, a business proposition for themselves. And that's why they come and said, you know, can I start a preschool of my own along with you? So that's one reason why we've had a significant number of women entrepreneurs, predominantly coming from the teaching side. Then we've also had mothers who had their children study in Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids and seen how the curriculum has impacted the development of their child. You know, let's say, you know, mothers in Bombay, she put her child in a Kangaroo Kids. Child really, you know, blossomed in the preschool, and then the mom gets shifted to Nagpur. You know, the family shifts to Nagpur, and she says, hey, you know what, there's no Kangaroo Kids over here. They approach us and say, you know, not just for their own child, but they also say, can we start a Kangaroo Kids, because we know that the format is transformative from a child's perspective. That's another reason why we've seen mums and parents come to us and willing to take the transformative power of our curriculum to other parents, right? And finally, we've seen a lot of women coming and saying, I want to build my own business. This is a business which works beautifully for me because I'm interacting with moms the whole day. I'm interacting with children the whole day. And there is a natural affinity for women in the preschool sector. You're handling women teachers. We don't generally allow male teachers inside the classroom. Actually, we don't allow male teachers at all inside our classrooms, because from a child safety perspective. So it's all female teachers. It's didis who take care of the children. And it's a natural affinity for women to be able to handle this kind of a setup beautifully, right? And you become master of your own destiny. You're running your own preschool. And even from interacting with the parents, it's predominantly the mother that is driving the interaction at that point in time. So I think it's just a natural fit for women entrepreneurs to be successful in this kind of a space.
And also, Sai, it is a great work-life balance. for the ladies, because many of our partners, women lady partners, they have left their corporate jobs at senior level and took up this opportunity, and they are having a great work-life balance as well.
I think we have good set of questions already in, and while we cannot take all these questions, my request to all our friends who have joined in would also be that we're also conducting in this week and the coming week a lot of one-to-one interactions, and I see a lot of cities also coming in. So I'll pick up some questions which are common. And my first question, you being an experienced educator and you've placed a lot of emphasis on foundational building and experiential learning in the last 20 odd years. What, according to you, is the thumb rule, or I would say the unit economics for running a preschool? The optimal batch size, gestation time it reaches, takes to reach that size, the break-even period. Would you be able to comment maybe on a macro?
Sure. I mean, and I think if Sudeep, you can answer that question.
Yeah. So in order to be a successful center, there are few parameters. The complete success depends on certain parameters. So the success or return on investment depends on 3-4 things. Number one, selection of the right catchment. If my prior market analysis and business projection and basis, there are certain parameters like population, purchasing power, the level of affluence, what is the property rate, what kind of gentry is there. So there are several parameters basis which we evaluate the market potential. So the market potential, basis that market potential, we recommend that, look, I think this is the micro market of this locality where you should have your property. So identification of the right property plays a very, very crucial role. Of course, at a right price. I mean, one has to negotiate and find out the right vendor. Then the second parameter is decision about the right price point, that is the fee structure. So the fee structure has to be competitive. At the same time, it should be market driven, and it should in as per the competition as well. Then your quality of teacher and the counselor. So this is predominantly handled by our team. So training and quality will play a very crucial part in converting the walk-ins into enrollment. So these are the 3 very crucial points which are there. And of course, the engagement level of the franchisee owner herself or himself. Because we have seen that out of say 1,200 centers, the number of partners, unique partners, is around 880. So many of our partners have multiple centers, and we have seen wherever there are the same owner has got multiple centers, the owner is very actively engaged. So the partner's own engagement level plays again a very, very instrumental role. So these are, I think, 4 points which we should keep it in mind. And so far as the payback period is concerned, it again varies, Sonia. It can be in 1.5 years. Like typically the investment which is put into this business, if all these 4 parameters are good, it varies from 18 months to you can say 18 months to around 26 months. The payback period varies in between this span. Again, it depends on the city. Like if it is Mumbai, because of the high property rate and little higher construction or civil cost, it may be little longer, maybe say 24-26 months. And for smaller towns, it would be shorter, maybe 17-18 months.
Sure. So that's very, very helpful. And, while we talk, I still see a lot of people wanting to interact one-on-one. My last question, which I'll take because we're almost at the end of our webinar, is on the locations. While Pan India is what we're looking at, but I saw a lot of inquiries coming from tier 2 locations, 1, 2, 3, including Bangalore, Hyderabad, Bombay, Panipat, Kakinada. And so I did see you answering that you're open for some formats, and some formats might not be viable. So would you want to clarify, which all locations are good enough for Eurokids, what locations would be good for the Kangaroo one, or we would look at maybe the premium spots even in locations like Bangalore. So do we have a segregation of these two formats is one of the questions which I have. And second, do we have priority cities, regions or states where we want to enter?
Yeah. So for Kangaroo Kids, our focus will be predominantly on the top 30 cities of India. So metros, mini metros, and the next set of towns. Yeah, because it's a premium format. But we are not close to evaluating a Kangaroo Kids opportunity, provided it's in a market which can afford a relatively premium fee point. Right. So in Kangaroo Kids, the opportunity lies in the top 30 cities. In Eurokids, we're already in 350 plus cities across the country, right? But our priority cities are the top 120 cities of India. I can share the list with you, Sonia, and if anyone is interested, they can reach out to the Franchise India team, and we can then take it more on a one-on-one basis. But I think Eurokids has the much larger spread across 350 plus cities of India. So we're pretty much there in most of the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and we've even gone to tier 5 cities in some case with Eurokids. But with Kangaroo Kids, it will predominantly be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, not beyond that. Right?
All right. That's very helpful. And, I'll also request, as we come close, Sai, if there's a closing remark, a message that you want to give to the entire audience, and just to add on to what you said at the start of the presentation, and people have been confused on the physical and the online, and physical schooling is the essence, and I would say the foundation of learning. Students, when they interact with each other, they learn, they grow, and they also evolve. And that's more important through peer-to-peer learning. And I was also reading some time back, parents in Bangalore, they even demanded to reopen preschools because they saw some changes in the behavior of young children and loss of a lot of foundational learning which they observed in the last 1.5 years. So with this, friends, I'll request all of you, all the questions that we could not take, we apologize, because we already about 10 minutes up 5 o'clock, and we like to take all these questions one-to-one session, which can be both face-to-face meetings or through a virtual telephonic or Zoom meeting. And Sai, any message that you want to give to the entire audience which is listening to you?
Thank you, Sonia. So one thing I'd like to just leave the audience with is that last year in October, 6, 7 months after the pandemic started, we actually asked ourselves a fundamental question saying, post-pandemic, will the preschool industry continue to exist or will it disappear? Right? Because we needed to ask that question and answer that question for ourselves. So we went out and, we hired a research agency and we spoke to close to 1,500 parents across the country who are going through homeschooling, no schooling, online schooling, all kinds of different forms of preschooling was being done by these parents. They all unanimously came back and told us only one thing. They said, we are waiting for preschools to open physically because we know that is the most effective form of education for our little children. Yeah. Maybe there were 1 or 2 parents who said, my child has some autoimmune disorder, so I am a bit worried about sending my child back physically, but that was like a 1%. So let's say 99% of the parents said, for us, physical preschooling is the way forward. For moms who are working, they are desperate for preschools to open because when they go back to office and they don't have help at home, they don't have parents at home, they don't have in-laws at home, they need a preschool to place their child in, right? So that gave us the confidence that physical preschooling is eventually going to come back. And now we are seeing that as physical preschools open, the demand is coming back very, very rapidly. And it's like Gaurav said earlier, there is a significant bounce back in demand that we are seeing. So I would recommend to all people who have ever considered a preschool as an investment opportunity, as an entrepreneurship opportunity, that the time is now.
Absolutely, and we second that. And Franchise India is very, very excited for this partnership. Franchise India is always about timing. So we always see a timing when there would be excitement, consolidation, or a great opportunity which will emerge. I have no doubt to say that this is the perfect timing for this. So friends, there are 3 opportunities which we want to mention. One is that you want to start a preschool and you can choose between these 2 brats. That's one opportunity. Second opportunity is also that if you are somebody who's running a preschool and you feel that this is a time you want to be with the leader, then also we can have a discussion. I know a lot of people who have joined might be running some other brand or their own brand, and they feel that growing with a brand is always great. And that's where they are still having retention of 50,000 kids still on a regular program with Eurokids. And that's the power of the brand. And I will say that, and some of you who want to really see their infrastructure, they have state-of-art infrastructure. I don't think any company globally can even compare what Lighthouse has put behind that. Somebody asked that what kind of capability. I was a number of times to their head office. The kind of infrastructure they've created is to back your investment. So this is a very well invested company, backed by the best of the funds in the world, which have backed and put confidence around their leadership and structure. So it's a very important for investors to also know where they're investing their capital with. The third opportunity is also that if you want to do a little bit of a lesser entry point, which means that you want to get into that, but you don't have that. And I think there's a lot of infrastructure also available, which Franchise India is working on. We can get you some infrastructure which is ready or was there as a preschool. You can just take over, turn around that business, do a little bit of a new branding and new structure. So your entry point can be reduced. So we're working hard that you save that initial capital so that you are able to use that for your marketing and pushing up the numbers and getting maximum out of that. So there are many opportunities. We have put about 40 people across India. They are dedicated people. They are best of the consultants which have been put. And Sonia and I am leading directly this all opportunity. We are involved directly, available at any point in time. We want to discuss. We want to bring in more answers to it. We'll be more than happy to do that. Anybody in a day's notice, if you want us to visit your site, we will do in just 24 hours notice. Senior consultant would come down, see your site, take the information and pass it on to the leadership team at Lighthouse. So for them to validate, once they approve, we'll quickly turn around and get started on that thing. And especially when people who want to build some capabilities, they need at least 2 to 3 months, and the season starts in February. So take this timing. Timing is very, very critical. So apply now, go to our business hotline number. There's a dedicated hotline number, which is 971-76-838-38. This is a number you need to send WhatsApp. Just send a little profile and a WhatsApp, and your message would be sent to the nearest consultant. We have consultants in 94 cities in India. So the nearest consultant would reach out to you in no time. We'll take every single inquiry very, very seriously, every single interest. But there is no rush. You need to evaluate that opportunity. Similarly, Lighthouse has very, very strong selection criteria. They would also validate, is this the right profile for them to be partner with the business. So thank you very much, Sai. Thank you, Sudeep, for taking time out. And it was a short notice. And I know you took time out and agreed to come on a webinar. So thank you, friends. And thank you very much for joining in. We had an exciting session, and this makes a beginning for further dialogue. Over to you, Sonia, for your last comment, and then to Archana for doing the thank you note.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone once again. And friends, I'd like to state that all the questions that you've put in the Q&A, our teams will come back to you. And all of you looking for even a presentation, which I saw coming in, our teams will share the entire details. And also we have a recorded webinar that you just saw on the Facebook page of Franchise India Brands. Anyone who wants to go through the same can also do that. We'll leave the link of the Facebook page for you to go through. And Ashna, can you kindly take it up for your closing remarks now?
Sure. So in line, we really want to thank Sai. We want to thank Sudeep, Gaurav sir, Sonia ma'am for joining in today. A big thanks to all the dear participants for joining us today, attended this particular webinar. Please do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 97176-83838. We have shared the same number in the chat box. Also write to us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. Please do share your suggestions, valuable feedback with us at our different social handles. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a very safe day ahead. Thank you so much. Keep learning.
Thank you.